After 6 months after that shock EU referendum result, the government faces a crucial court case today. The Supreme Court will decide on whether a decision to trigger Article 50 to leave the EU should be approved by Parliament or be left up to Theresa May.
Joining us now, Labour MP Chuka Umunna, former Work and Pensions Secretary Ian Duncan-Smith as well, which means I'm not the only person coughing on the sofa, because you sound like you're afflicted as well.
The most powerful sofa we've had for a long time.
It is. This is quite a lineup.
Two backbenchers. Hang on a second. Where are you going with this?
Let me just check it. How political is today's decision?
It's a judicial decision. It's a question of what the law is. And let's get it in context. This isn't about whether we leave the European Union. We're going to leave the European Union. It isn't actually whether Article 50 gets triggered, activated, if you like. It's about who gets to do it. And all that is happening here is a court is determining whether we live in like an elected dictatorship and it all gets done by the Prime Minister and she gets to dictate all the terms, or whether actually the people who were elected to speak on behalf of your viewers, whether we actually get a say in that process.
All right, Ian Duncan-Smith, here's the apparent contradiction with the position that you guys have got on this. I thought the whole point, I voted Remain, I'll be full disclosure, but I thought the whole point of leave was that so we could be run by our own sovereign parliament, our own sovereign judges, we could seize back control. Here you have a situation where judges are making what they consider to be a lawful judgment under British law, and if, as seems likely, they uphold the High Court, then it would go to Parliament, the sovereign Parliament, to debate this, and then nobody assumes we're going to leave Brexit at the end of it. It will be debated, and then we're going to leave Europe. What is the problem? Why are you so exercised about a sovereign Parliament debating a decision taken by our sovereign judges?
Well, Piers, there are two elements to this. So the first element is when the judges intervene here and say that Parliament must do something, there is a much bigger interconnection with the whole constitutional balance between the courts and Parliament. Parliament is supreme, but since we set up the Supreme Court, there's been this constant struggle for the court to become supreme to Parliament. In other words, dictate to Parliament what they should do. Article 9 of the Bill of Rights, most people out there won't have heard of this, but Article 9 of the Bill of Rights makes it very clear it's not for the courts to decide what Parliament does, that's for Parliament. The second element of this is that really, let's get back to this, it's not about taking away rights from Parliament. Parliament passed the referendum bill, and it was explicit publicly when they passed it that Parliament was handing over that power to the British people to decide should we leave.
To decide, but not how we leave.
Now, hang on a second. Article 50 decides only one thing, that you are now bound on a course to leave. What Theresa May has guaranteed is that then also we have to repeal the 1972 European Communities Act. That means there'll be endless votes, endless debates, endless amendments going through both houses of Parliament on every aspect of the European Union, because 1972 European Communities Act covers everything about our membership of the European Union. So, Chuka and his party and Nick Clegg and the others, if they were really, really concerned about debating each issue, they'll get more time. I mean, the public will be sick and tired of this.
This is totally misleading. There is a question of how European law is implemented in the UK. I am an ex-solicitor. That is what 1972 Communities Act, the Great Repeal Act, which is going to go through, is about. This is about the terms of our departure. This is about yes, it absolutely is about the terms. You've had your say. It is about the terms on how we leave. And the Prime Minister is asserting that she gets complete carte blanche to do whatever she wants on that. No, she doesn't. She has a mandate to take us out of the European Union. But how it affects your viewers' jobs, their livelihoods, how it affects your rights to work, all of that, in the end, is an issue for Parliament. Yeah.
Right. The royal prerogative, it seems to me, is where this argument comes down to. Does our Prime Minister have the right to royal prerogative on this decision? Now, it would appear from the High Court's decision and what's likely to be a Supreme Court ratification of that, Ian Duncan-Smith, that she does not. Are you questioning... Well, let me just ask Ian, actually. Are you questioning the fact that the High Court and then 11 Supreme Court judges are all wrong on that central point of law?
Well, the Supreme Court judges, in fairness to Ian, haven't actually made a judgment yet.
OK, I did counter as it is likely that they're going to ratify the
but let's take a pace back for a second, because the answer to this question lies in this single fact, which Chuka has to face up to, and everybody has to. When we passed the Referendum Act, that was a moment when Parliament said that whatever the decision of the British people, we will enact that. They didn't say...
That's exactly what the judges are going to be ruling on this week.
Hold on, but the key bit here, the key absolutely key bit is not, you know, if the judges, for example, decide they're going to uphold the High Court, then what will happen almost immediately will be a very simple one-clause bill, maybe 3 or 4 lines long, with a long title which describes what that is. That will go down and it'll go through both houses. That will not describe what the government will do in the negotiations for a very good and simple reason. You cannot pre-guess what your negotiation position will be because they have no idea what the response to the European Union will be. And the idea of 650 members of Parliament then deciding on each aspect what government should do is absolutely ridiculous. The point is we're leaving. The question after that about what's in it will come all the way through the 72 Act.
Look, Parliament isn't asking to micromanage the negotiation process. And what the government is saying is there's no middle way between micromanagement and any form of accountability.